Blake Lively just walked away from a $400 million lawsuit. Victorious, but scroll through the internet and you'd think she's the one who lost everything. Headlines twisting her image, TikToks calling her cold and controlling, Reddit threads dissecting her facial expressions. All this backlash? For winning? It didn't start with the lawsuit, and it didn't end with the truth. What happened to Blake Lively is bigger than one court case. It's a glimpse into an online machine built to punish women for speaking out. A machine some are calling the misogyny slop ecosystem. And once it targets you, even the facts can't save you. For most people, a defamation lawsuit is the end of the story. But for Blake Lively, it was just the beginning. In late 2024, just after the release of It Ends With Us, Lively's name was suddenly everywhere. But not for her performance. She wasn't being celebrated. She was being attacked. At first, it looked like typical internet drama. Whispers on gossip blogs, snide TikTok edits, and headlines that felt just a little too personal. But then came something nobody expected. Justin Baldoni, her co-star, sued her for $400 million. Not just her, but her husband, Ryan Reynolds, too. The claim? Defamation. Baldoni alleged that Lively had orchestrated a smear campaign to ruin his name, all because she had filed a separate legal complaint against him and his team. So what was that complaint? According to Lively, the harassment didn't stop on set. When she finally spoke up about inappropriate behavior during filming, she claims Baldoni's camp retaliated, not just with lawyers, but with PR weapons, fake stories, online narratives, and a flood of content portraying her as bossy, hard to work with, and emotionally unstable. Baldoni denied everything. His studio, Wayfarer, called her claims outrageous and intentionally salacious. And then, in what felt like a power move, he took her to court. But here's the twist. He lost. Hard. The judge threw out the entire $400 million suit, and a separate one he filed against the New York Times for covering her complaint. You'd think that would be the end of it. Legal win, reputation cleared, but the internet had already chosen its villain. And Blake Lively had already been cast. It should have been a career milestone, a highly anticipated adaptation, a star-studded cast, the kind of project that puts names in lights. Instead, It Ends With Us lit the match that would set Blake Lively's public image on fire. Not long after the film's release, something strange started happening. The press junkets, normally filled with light interviews and harmless fluff, turned sour. Clips were cut to show her looking dismissive. Headlines used words like difficult, flippant, and cold. It wasn't criticism of the movie, it was a character assassination of the lead actress. Suddenly, Blake Lively wasn't just the star of the film, she was the problem behind it. Social media flooded with micro-analyses of her tone, her body language, her interactions with other cast members. One awkward 2016 interview from nearly a decade ago resurfaced and exploded online, repackaged as proof of her being rude. And just like that, the narrative was set. But what most people didn't know was what was happening behind the scenes. In December, Lively filed a legal complaint that sent shockwaves through the industry. She alleged that this wave of bad press wasn't organic, it was orchestrated. According to her, after she raised concerns about sexual harassment during production, someone wanted her silenced. Her filing claimed that Baldoni's team, including hired publicists, had been coordinating a smear campaign. The method? Quietly feeding negative stories to gossip sites, influencers, and online forums, then watching it all go viral. If true, this wasn't just bad PR. It was a calculated takedown, and Blake Lively was its target. What if the internet outrage we scroll past every day isn't just spontaneous? What if it's deliberate? According to Blake Lively's legal complaint, that's exactly what happened. Private messages revealed in court filings showed chilling conversations between publicists tied to Justin Baldoni. They discussed strategies to bury her, not in court, but in the comments section. Not with facts, but with content. The plan was simple. Take a few awkward moments, cut them into clips, spin them into narratives, and plant them in just the right places. Influencers, gossip blogs, fan accounts, even subreddits, each one feeding off the other, creating a ripple effect that looked organic, but wasn't. They called it manufactured content, and it worked. Stories started spreading. Blake's been acting strange lately. Is she hard to work with? Why is Ryan Reynolds always defending her? One TikTok becomes 10. A few gossip posts become hundreds of angry comments. Before long, it doesn't even matter if the original claim was fake. The perception is real, and the damage already done. Here's the twist. Baldoni's team never had to post it themselves. They just had to plant the seed. The internet did the rest. It's not just about PR anymore, it's about weaponizing visibility. Because in today's digital battlefield, it's not enough to win in court. You have to survive the algorithm. If Blake Lively's story feels familiar, it should, because we've seen this playbook before. In 2022, the world watched as Amber Heard became public enemy #1 during her defamation trial with Johnny Depp. And while the courtroom focused on legal arguments, YouTube had other plans. Within days, creators were flooding the platform with videos mocking Heard's testimony, dissecting her facial expressions, remixing her cries into memes. Some videos were racking up millions of views overnight, and many of those creators were cashing in, literally. Her legal team later argued that this tidal wave of online hate played a major role in her defeat. It didn't matter what the jury said, the internet had already decided. And now it's happening again, this time to Blake. She didn't have a public trial, but she did have the algorithm's full attention. Suddenly, the same labels that stuck to Heard were being thrown at Lively: vindictive, manipulator, narcissist. It's not a coincidence, it's a pattern. And the strategy works because it turns public doubt into entertainment. These aren't just opinions. They're narratives crafted to erase credibility and reverse the roles of victim and villain. It's a shift so powerful, it doesn't need a gavel. Just a few TikToks and a trending Reddit thread. And the result? Another woman silenced by spectacle. It sounds absurd at first. Misogyny slop ecosystem. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. That phrase was coined by feminist YouTuber Ofi Doki, and it perfectly describes the machine that swallowed Amber Heard, and now has Blake Lively in its jaws. Here's how it works. A TikTok sleuth stitches an old interview, claims Blake is emotionally unstable. A Reddit thread digs up irrelevant drama from 2015. A gossip blogger posts a half-baked theory based on a blurry photo. None of it's new, none of it's confirmed, but together, it feels real. And because these creators feed off one another's content, quoting, reposting, reacting, it creates the illusion of consensus. A loop, a self-reinforcing ecosystem that thrives on drama without facts, speculation without accountability, and hate dressed as entertainment. Even if there's nothing new, the cycle never stops. Update. No update, but here's another theory. Blake still hasn't commented. What is she hiding? And the audience? They're addicted. Because drama is fast, it's cheap, and it gets views. Millions of them. This isn't just content, it's strategy. A digital courtroom where clicks are the verdict and rage is the currency. And once you're inside this ecosystem, truth becomes irrelevant. Blake Lively didn't choose to be its next target. But once her name entered the algorithm, it stopped being her story and became theirs. At first, it seemed like this was just a celebrity problem, a Hollywood scandal, an A-lister being dragged online. But it didn't stay in Hollywood, because once this misogyny slop ecosystem learned how profitable and addictive it was to rip apart famous women, it turned its gaze on everyone else. Today, random women, not famous, not rich, not protected, are being filmed at their worst moments. Crying, screaming, breaking down. Their footage is uploaded to TikTok or YouTube, stripped of context, and framed with captions like, "This is why men don't trust women." Amber Heard energy? Another manipulative psycho caught on camera. The views? Astronomical. The comments? brutal. These aren't just isolated clips. They become fuel for creators in the men's rights space, the very same people who went after Amber and now Blake. They stitch these videos into exposés, build narratives around strangers, and then use them to validate hate against women in general. One woman's outburst becomes proof that all women lie, all women manipulate, all women are dangerous. And just like that, a total stranger becomes the main character in a story she didn't ask to be part of. And worse, no one comes to her defense, because the ecosystem rewards silence. If you speak up, you're just like Amber. If you defend yourself, you're proving the point. It's not just about discrediting individual women anymore. It's about reshaping how the internet sees all of them. And once real life gets pulled in, no one's off limits. Not celebrities, not creators, not you.
There's a name for what's happening, and it's not new.
It's called DARVO, Deny, Attack, Reverse Victim and Offender. The term was coined in 1997 by trauma psychologist Jennifer Fried, and it's as sinister as it sounds. Here's how it works. Deny the accusation, attack the person who made it, wait, reverse the roles. Paint yourself as the real victim and them as the aggressor. Sound familiar? Amber Heard was called a manipulator. Blake Lively is being labeled vindictive and power-hungry. And when they defend themselves, that defense is twisted into evidence of guilt. But DARVO doesn't stop with the accused. It spreads. Fans use it, influencers copy it, gossip blogs amplify it. It becomes a collective tactic, where whole communities attack the credibility of women who speak up. It's why a woman can win in court and still lose the public. It's why truth isn't enough anymore. And it's why speaking out now comes with a price most aren't willing to pay. Because DARVO doesn't just doubt women, it discredits them. It doesn't ask, what happened? It declares she made it up. And once that narrative takes hold, facts, rulings, even judges' orders start to feel irrelevant. Doubt is faster, louder, stickier. And it's become the internet's favorite weapon.
By early 2025, things had already spiraled.
But then came Valentine's Day, and with it, a new plot twist. A new legal affidavit was filed by Brian Friedman, Justin Baldoni's lawyer. In it, he made a stunning claim. Someone closely linked to pop icon Taylor Swift allegedly told him that Blake Lively's lawyer had tried to pressure Swift into making a public statement of support. The alleged threat? If Swift didn't post, Lively's team might release private texts between them. The tabloids ate it up. In seconds, headlines exploded. Head like Lively threatens Taylor Swift? Celebrity feud brewing? Social media couldn't resist. Reddit lit up. TikTok spiraled. People started turning on Blake all over again. And Taylor never even said a word. What got lost in all of the noise was this. The judge struck the affidavit down within 24 hours, calling it a clear attempt to promote public scandal. The court noted that it made unverified, inflammatory claims without naming the source. And yet, the damage was done. Because once a story like that breaks, it doesn't matter what's proven false. It only matters how many people saw it first. And that's the playbook. Drop a bomb, let the internet run with it. Even if the judge rejects it, even if it's dismissed, it still lives forever in search bars and screenshots. This wasn't just about Blake and Baldoni anymore. Now it had pulled in Taylor Swift, and the court itself was being used as a launchpad for scandal. And behind it all, the same system. Drama first, truth later, if ever. Blake Lively won in court, but in the arena that really matters now, the internet's court of public opinion, the damage was already done. She's just one name in a growing list of women who dared to speak up, only to be met with a tidal wave of memes, headlines, and hate. Whether it's Amber Heard, a stranger on TikTok, or the next woman who comes forward, the machine is already waiting. Because today, the price of telling your story isn't just disbelief, it's humiliation, reversal, and sometimes erasure. We're not here to tell you who's right or who's wrong. We're not defending Blake. We're not condemning Baldoni. We're asking a different question. Who benefits when the truth gets buried beneath outrage? In a world where content moves faster than facts, where court documents are ignored but viral edits trend for days, it's never been harder to know what's real. But as the X-Files once said, the truth is out there. The only question is, will we look for it or just scroll past it?